Feel some hot air pumping out there now.
Paddling jacks, driving on the tracks, and so much more. Come along with all things outdoors.
G'day folks, welcome back. Well, it's gotten super chilly here in Australia at the moment. There's snow in the hills all around us and it is generally really cold, and normally that would prevent us from going out camping. I really want to do some more camping in the Diagonal Ute camper setup, but the cold weather's really sort of putting the brakes on that. So tonight's project is going to be something that will help us get out in the Ute camper setup and have a bit of heat and a bit of warmth to stay comfortable. So let's get straight to it right now. A couple of years ago I bought one of these all-in-one diesel heaters that's got a 3-litre fuel tank at the top and the heater module down below, and I've used it to heat a tent, I've used it to heat a caravan, but what I want to do now is use it to heat the canopy section of my dual cab Ute so I can go out camping in it. There's only one problem though, is that it's very difficult to get the hose pipe into the vehicle without having a door or a window or something open, and then that gets kind of problematic in trying to keep cold air out and defeats the purpose of heating the space. So I've got an idea. On the original build I had this interesting little computer fan that's USB powered that I stuck in that front sliding window of the canopy, but there's only really a gap of about this much between the canopy and the cabin of the vehicle. So what I'm going to try and do is get a hose down in there so I can pull warm air through that sliding section at the front of the canopy to be able to stuff some hot air in from the diesel heater here. So I bought a section of this. It's 100 mil diameter flex hosing that's used for like heater ducting in houses and things like that, and it seems to fit nicely over the outlet hose of the diesel heater. So what I'm going to try and do is use that to run the hot air up and into the front sliding window of the dual cab Ute canopy. And then I'll also make another one of these with one of the diesel heater ducts that's in there, and I can put that in there and then close the window on it so we don't get any drafts or cold air coming in with that heater duct anyway, and again defeating the purpose. So I'll do that and then we'll set this up in the Ute and see if we can make it work. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why don't I just take the heater out of there and install it into the vehicle? Well, the simple fact of the matter is I don't really want to cut holes in the bottom of my tray of my vehicle. And the whole purpose of that camper setup was that it was easy to take out and put in so that I can just use it to cart firewood, that sort of thing. So I really want it to be plain and simple to be able to remove the whole camper set out of the back, and having the diesel heater installed with all the pipes running out through the bottom of the tray would just be non-negotiable. So the whole idea of this setup is that I can remove it and use it in multiple setups like the caravan and the tent, and all that I need is a bit of 12-volt power to plug in and fill it up with diesel, and away you go. So that's the whole premise behind it, and the only way to get in is to come in through that front sliding window in the canopy. So that's what we're stuck with and that's what we're going with. There you have it. There's our little vent that we're going to jam in between the front sliding windows and the canopy. And I know it doesn't look pretty, but I've flattened out the piece of ducting that can go up between the canopy and the cab of the vehicle, so that we can then attach that long flex hose to come down to the diesel heater. We'll go and jump in the back of the ute and see if it fits up there. So I have encountered a bit of a problem. There's not enough room between the two panes of glass for the pipe to flex up enough to go up through the top bit. So this is sitting out quite a bit, so I'm going to have to make some modifications and make that work. But the good thing is, got the little nozzle there that we can turn in any direction we want. And that'll be quite nice because I'll be laying right there. Anyway, it's bloody cold out here, it's getting late, it's dark. I'll come back tomorrow and we'll set it all up in the light of day and see how it looks and see how it works. Catch you then. Through the magic of cinema, it is now daytime. What I'm going to do now is go and set up the all-in-one diesel heater and connect the hose up to the hose that I've plugged in through the front window of the canopy, and we'll get it all started up and see how it runs and heats up the back of the ute there. Let's go. So the beauty of my setup here is that I've got 12 volt power there available in the form of a cigarette socket, which can run out to where the diesel heater is conveniently placed underneath the vehicle so that it stays dry if it rains. And then we have an outlet pipe here that runs up to where I've got the ducting poking out the front of the canopy there. So all that's left to do now is switch it on and see how quickly we can heat up the canopy. Also managed to fix the issue I had with the ducting bending down in between the cab and the canopy as well. I've just pulled the levers forward a bit, and it allows to turn the corner quite nicely there, and also stick up between the cab and the canopy, so I can put the ducting onto it and still be able to move the ducting around and point it in the direction I want it to. And it is getting noticeably warm in here, so I'm going to have to keep the temperature down. And the good thing is that my diesel heater has a remote which I can keep here in the cab with me, and I can turn it on and off and adjust the temperature from inside without even having to get out. I'm already noticing that the temperature I've got set on the diesel heater is making it rather warm in here, and it does not take long at all to increase the temperature. I started at 11 degrees and the temperature gauge is actually reading 16, but it feels noticeably warmer than that in here. So I'm really going to have to sort of play around with the temperature settings of the diesel heater so that it doesn't get overwhelmingly hot in here. I noticed that when I did it with the awning tent setup as well, I think I ended up having it set on like 12 degrees or something like that to make it comfortable, because anything warmer than that on the settings made it almost unbearable to stay in there. So I'll probably do the same thing. This canopy here is far more insulated than a tent as well, so that will probably make it even more so warmer, and it's a smaller space too, so it's good to know that that heats up really quickly in here and I can be super comfortable. So we might cut it off now because I'm getting quite warm. So this has been a really good test to see if I can actually duct the diesel heater air into the cabin and make it nice and comfortable in here. And while I've got you too, I'm probably already devising a Mark III of the camper setup. This particle board's been good for doing the proof of concept, but going forward I want something that's a bit more structurally sound. I've already cracked these front panels a couple of times, and I've also got an idea for making it a bit more versatile, so you're not always in that sleeping configuration all the time. So if you've finished sleeping, you can set it all up and have all this leg room and leg space to be able to sit up and cook and do all those sorts of things. So look out for a video in the future of me completely changing the whole setup again, because that's what I do. I can't stop my brain from ticking away. Anyway, let's go and turn off the diesel heater and wrap it up. Well folks, I'm going to chalk that up as a successful test of the diesel heater heating the Ute Canopy camping setup. So I think it's high time that we get out and do some cold weather camping using this thing to keep us nice and toasty while we stay in the back there. Probably not good for sort of more urban stealthy type camping, but definitely out in the forest we can use this to keep ourselves toasty warm in the winter months. So on that note, I'll sign off and say see you on the next one folks. Anyway folks, I'm going to chalk that up as a